Hello. It's good to see you. Today I have a copy of Mechanics Illustrated. Now this is from August of 1940. It was 10 cents. This magazine is guaranteed satisfaction or double your money back. You could get 20 whole cents if you think this magazine sucks. Of course, it's kind of old, so you may be out of luck if you don't like the article that we're going to read. I was just looking through, and I used this is what I put on my door when I'm making a video and I don't want to be disturbed, my on-air sign. But my kids are aware that I'm in here, so don't worry about it. I didn't read all of this article, and there is a little bit of glare on these pages, but I thought this would be interesting to read. Two heads are better than one. And then after we read this, maybe we can look at some little articles, little blurbs that come after this. Two heads are better than one. These are the Funk Twins. I love that. The Funk Twins. I cut my finger today on a piece of aluminum foil. I didn't even think that was possible. I didn't even cut it on the cutter thing on the box. No, I did it on the edge of the aluminum foil. So my two middle fingers are now messed up. This is the one I cut on a plate. This I cut on foil. I'm batting 1,000 here lately. Okay, let's do this little part first. Following in the footsteps of another pair of Ohio brothers, the Wrights, the Funk Twins are a striking contradiction to the old saying, "He travels fastest who travels alone." They're going places fast and doing it together. This was written by Walter Burton. And up here, we have a little thing here. The Funk Twins in a characteristic pose, threshing out an idea for their plane at the drawing board. Howard, the expert of plane design, is standing while Joe, the engine specialist, wields the pencil and triangle. The original Funk glider in the air. This craft, incorporating new ideas in aerodynamic design and performance, was the granddaddy of their present light plane. There is little in common between chicken wings and airplane wings. Both, however, played vital parts in the success of the Funk Twins, for it was largely chickens that enabled them to get started on a double-barreled career that has developed into one of the fastest-growing airplane manufacturing enterprises in the country. The Funk brothers are identical twins. The way you tell Howard from Joe is that Howard wears glasses. Otherwise, they look exactly alike. But they don't work that way. Joe is a specialist on engines, while Howard is an expert on airfoils and other elements of plane design. Thus, they are putting to practical use the theory that two heads are better than one. Very cool. The story of the Funk Twins and the non-spinning airplane they have given American aviation began when they were boys. Their father, who operated a poultry market, died when they were still in the grades. Their mother decided to keep on with the business. The boys helped her. With the money they earned in the market, they paid their way through school. They paid for engineering courses at the University of Akron, and they bought lathes, drill presses, and saws. Like most other American boys, the Funk Twins early became interested in airplanes. They built models. Then, along about 1925, they had the thrill of taking their first ride in an actual plane, a ride that was a milestone in their twin careers. Appetites whetted by this taste of aviation, the Funk boys worked out a fairly definite idea of what they wanted to do with their lives. They decided that aviation was their field, and they set about with characteristic method to work down that field to some sort of goal. As the first step, they learned to fly. Behind the poultry store was a lot of unused floor space, an ideal place for a shop. So Joe and Howard began buying lathes, drill presses, and other machinery and setting it up. With this equipment, they began work on a glider. It was more than a conventional glider. It was designed for maximum safety. For one thing, it wouldn't spin. To help the glider enterprise, the boys formed a glider club. In this way, they added extra hands to their own 2 pair. That glider lived up to expectations. In fact, its performance was so outstanding that more than one flying expert urged the boys to take the next step and incorporate its best design features in an airplane. And up here we see a picture of J.H. Bunting, another twin. He demonstrates how the starter of the Funk plane operates. Bunting resigned a good job to take a gamble on the success of the Funk plane and raise the capital for the new company. And down here, note the high visibility given by streamlined engine and the generous use of windows. And so the profits from the Funk market went into a motorized monoplane that slowly took form in the shop behind the store. The plane was powered by a wheezy 3-cycle engine. That was about the only light plane power plant available at the time. The way the engine behaved is illustrated by an experience the boys had in Michigan. One day, while they were flying over Detroit, the engine swallowed a valve. There was no place to make a forced landing in Detroit, so the boys glided across the river and set their ship down on Canadian soil. Then they had a lot of explaining to do to the custom officials. Eventually, they picked up some spare parts in Detroit, patched up the engine, and flew the ship back to the USA. And that evening, in an automobile behind the hangar, they held a council of war that resulted eventually in one of the most remarkable aircraft engines ever produced. Joe Funk, whose meat is power plants, had an idea in the back of his head for some time. An idea that what the country needed was a good airplane engine of 65 or 70 horsepower. And after the Canadian experience, he decided to do something about it. Howard seconded the motion. The general idea behind the Funk engine that eventually replaced the 3-cylindered Wheezer is this. Most aircraft power plants are costly because the parts of which they are made are of special shape and size. If an engine could be built of the same sized valves, camshafts, bolts, and other parts that automobiles use, it could be produced much more cheaply because auto parts machinery is available in quantity. The Funk engine that evolved from the Behind the Hangar conference uses 3 parts that are of standard automotive design and materials, and a lot of other parts that are of standard automotive shape and size, but are made to aircraft specifications. It is an inverted engine. A Ford Model B block and Ford Model B crankshaft and camshafts are the only automotive parts in it. The pistons, valves, and all other elements are aircraft parts made on automotive production machinery. The engine is Prestone cooled and delivers 70 horsepower at 2,400 RPM sea level. With the new engine and the plane, the Funk twins were able to demonstrate many of the ideas they had nursed for years. Their ship inherited from the glider the inability to spin. It and its descendants are practically stall and spin-proof. They can be spun, but only with power on. When the motor is dead, a Funk ship cannot be thrown into a spin no matter what the pilot does wrong. And it has been said that about 90% of flying accidents are caused by tail spins. The Funk boys took their experimental job to Elmira, New York, to attend a glider meet. There, someone told them the government was offering a prize for the best design for a private airplane that could be produced in mass quantities for about $750. Here was a chance. The twins got into their plane and flew non-stop to Washington. They showed it to the experts at the Bureau of Air Commerce. The government men flew the ship, went over it repeatedly, looking for flaws. Then they asked the boys how much they would charge to build a plane like it for the Bureau. An agreement was made to deliver a ship and 2 engines. The second plane was built in the machine shop behind the poultry store. Its performance eventually won the Civil Aeronautics Authority approval. This opened the way to possible manufacture and sale of the Funk plane and engine. But you can't manufacture and sell airplanes on the proceeds from a poultry store. Joe and Howard Funk had reached a milestone in their methodical plan. They had become experts, respectively, on engines and planes. They had turned out a ship that interested the government enough for it to help them by placing an order, and they had won official approval of the design and had received their ATC on ship and motor, but they had little money. The Flying Fraternity of Akron knew the Funk Boys well. Among the pilots who were watching their work was J.H. Bunting, advertising director for an Akron rubber company and a practical flyer. Bunting suggested that a company be formed and capital raised to manufacture the Funk plane. The boys, who never worried as much about money as they did about building better planes, were skeptical. And up here you can see an interior view of the Funk plane. It has side-by-side seating and a new T-head dual control. And this is the inverted type engine developed by the twins. The engine uses 3 parts that are of standard automotive design and materials, and a number of other parts that are of standard auto shape and size, but made to aircraft specifications. And up here, making wings where school children once did their lessons. William Howe, left plant superintendent, confers with J.H. Bunting. And below is a corner of the fuselage department in the schoolhouse factory basement. So the boys who never worried about money were skeptical. Oops. Oh, we have to go to page 128. So were the Akron bankers with whom Bunting talked, but Bunting was willing to gamble. He resigned his job and its substantial salary. He held conferences with an attorney. Plans for organizing a company and selling stock were worked out. People still said it can't be done, but in 2 months, practically all of the $100,000 worth of stock had been sold. Bids came from other cities, offering factory facilities and money. But Bunting and the Funks had always lived in Akron, and they wanted to remain there. They rented from the city a large abandoned schoolhouse that stands on a hill adjoining the municipal airport. Today, the rooms and corridors that used to echo to cries of children are now vibrating to the whine of metal saws and the hissing of welding torches. As this is written, 1 plane a day emerges from a large assembly hangar that was erected back of the school building and points its nose toward Texas, California, Florida, or some other destination. The Funk airplane, of which about 75 have been delivered to date, and for which orders extending for months into the future have been piling up, is a high-wing monoplane. It is not a light plane, even though it sells in the light plane range. It is heavier and is in the 2-S class. Its cruising speed is 100 to 105 miles per hour. Because of its Prestone-cooled engine, it operates more economically than an air-cooled job of similar size. At cruising speed, the engine uses 4 gallons of gasoline an hour. The ship has such features as a starter of special design, a new type T-head dual control, side-by-side seating, high visibility because of the streamlined engine and generous use of windows, and all-metal doors similar to those on automobiles. But the thing that makes Joe and Howard Funk happiest is that the ship almost flies itself and will land on its wheels instead of its nose if the pilot suddenly goes haywire. If the pilot goes haywire. I like that. Such incidents as this attest to the soundness of the Funk twins' theories. At Youngstown, Ohio, a 65-year-old man was being examined for his pilot's license. The inspector told him to go up in his Funk plane and then make a landing at a certain spot. The man went up all right, but excitement got the best of him. He killed the engine. He yanked back the wheel and held it there. The plane, carefully balanced for just such emergencies, pancaked down much like a parachute. It didn't land gently, but neither did it injure the pilot or do much damage to itself. The inspector said an ordinary ship would have crashed and probably killed the man. Joe and Howard Funk no longer sell birds. They build them instead. Together, they are the engineering brains of the company. Joe still works on engines and Howard on fuselages, wings, and other parts of the plane proper. Let's see. But they are versatile enough to overlap their fields if necessary. The two, with Bunting, virtually eat and sleep airplanes. The Funk boys put in about 18 hours a day at it. They have no time for social activities or any other recreation, and apparently want none. They never even found time to get married, although they are 30 years old. Oh my stars. The Funk brothers attract no little attention because they are twins. But few people know that Bunting, who now heads the company, is an identical twin too. His brother died in infancy. Maybe some moral could be discovered in the relation between twins and planes. At any rate, the combination of mechanical genius, twins, and the methodical transformation of a boyhood hobby into an engineering feat has given aviation a new airplane and engine. The end. Ooh. The MI Simplex drill grinder. That sounds interesting. I wanted to look at some of the ads. Here's a catboat carousel. This magazine is fascinating. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Look, I love all these little blurbs with the pictures. No fish? Catch a soprano instead. Isaac Walton never suspected the use to which this young man has put his one-piece steel rod tip. He uses it as an antenna for his car radio. When he reaches the stream, he removes the rod tip and presto, there's his fishing pole. Flashing photo found in Foundry. Ooh. This looks like a 4th of July display, but it's not. It is just what happens when a camera catches the flash welding of two pieces of steel in a large electrical plant. The two semicircular pieces of steel are being fused into a magnet frame for a direct current motor. Oh, what is this? He can't jump the gun. Taking a tip from the horse tracks, Ben Ogden, track coach at Temple University, has devised this starting gate that prevents runners from jumping the gun. When the gun is fired, the straps drop in simultaneous action and the runner gets away cleanly. I didn't realize it was that big of a problem. Man conquers road map. Ooh. Motorists who have tried to drive and wrestle a folding road map around at the same time will be pleased with this globular map device which fastens to the steering wheel of the car. I hate y'all don't know, you young people don't know what it's like to have to deal with those maps, and they never fold back up right. It consists of a map housed in a metal ball with a lens to show desired portions at the turn of a knob. Interesting. That's cool. Starting off with a bang. Oh, I guess this is the map. This is the little thing that attaches to the steering wheel. Looks like this. Starting off with a bang. A new arrangement for the Cartridge engine starter is shown in these two pictures. The old arrangement had the cartridge in the cabin, and many misfires resulted for various reasons. By placing it closer, right on the engine mount, 100% results are now expected. The lower picture shows a close-up of the arrangement. Boat bottoms hit a new high. I wanted to read the thing about the grinder. Where was that? Oh, look, here's what we've all been waiting for. At last, a non-skid egg beater. Many an inexperienced person who has upset the bowl when trying to beat eggs will find delight in the latest gadget to make kitchen work a privilege and a pleasure. It's a non-skid device that attaches to the bottom of the framework of any egg beater. I guess it's this little piece. It is made of rubber, and not only does it prevent the egg beater from jumping about, but it also saves the bottom of the bowl from scratches. It is said to be equally successful in the whipping of cream. Oh wow, here's one of the first electric toothbrushes. Good Lord, that looks frightening. That's weird. Teeth cleaning fun with electric brush. It looks like a drill, like a cordless screwdriver. After 3 years of clinical testing, this new electric toothbrush has been put on the market. It is said to be the only tooth cleansing device available that automatically performs the rotation type of toothbrushing and gum massaging which dentists recommend. Power for the brush is supplied by a shock-proof motor. Well, that's good. The device may be used by the whole family, since any standard toothbrush fits in the holder clip. Oh, so you just attach your brush right here. I guess you just swap it out for different family members. Wow. Fingerprints feel the feminine touch. What? Let's see. This is Mrs. Mary Hamilton, Mary E. Hamilton. She was New York City's best policewoman. Today she conducts a unique fingerprinting school. Right here, with the help of a doll model, students show how a newborn baby is footprinted. Okay. And up here shows a hand a few seconds before a fingerprint impression is made. One of the students operates a slide machine, projecting the enlarged photograph of a fingerprint on the classroom wall. The class gazes attentively upward. Fingerprints feel the feminine touch. In one of the world's strangest schools, young women are preparing for careers in fingerprinting under the guidance of a woman expert. They feel that a civilian fingerprint system will soon go into effect, creating thousands of new jobs for civil service, hospital, and industrial workers. Positions of this type are already available. Mrs. Mary Hamilton, director of the New York School of Finger and Footprint. Wait, I have to go to page 139. I don't like the fact that they make you jump around to read stuff. I guess some things never change. Doesn't close her doors to men. She has many masculine students, but she considers the work unnatural for Miss America. Women experts are accurate and patient, and their presence in the field removes from fingerprinting its underworld stigma. Many of the girls are trained for careers in industry, helping to prevent payroll and similar frauds. Fingerprints, they point out, cannot be easily forged. Other students prefer hospital work or courses in fingerprint teaching. The simplest study of all, chosen by many high school youngsters, is an introductory course in the taking, classifying, and filing of prints. The most advanced work is the 3-year scientific research course, featuring such bizarre items as the study of the fingerprints of museum mummies. All in all, there are 10 courses, including a special class in fingerprint work for Social Security unemployment insurance. Here's a little blurb. I don't know what these are. A novel woodpecker problem was recently reported by a California citrus grower. He had to repair an airplane used in spraying groves because a woodpecker pecked a hole in a propeller blade and unbalanced the blades. Oh dear. A farming family can produce practically any and all of the vitamins it needs for health right on the farm. I guess they're just using these little blurbs to fill in space. You can learn how to do woodworking, earn cash at home, earn big money this new way. It's your business for your lifetime. Mail this coupon today. Well, what is this opportunity? The print is tiny. No experience needed. The field is unlimited. Big towns, small towns, villages, all are virgin territories. Now you can have a pleasant, profitable repeat business of your own. As scalatator, what in the world, scalatator representative in your vicinity, you will quickly build up an income of anywhere from $10 to $25 a day. Wow. No large investment required. Anyone can provide scalatator services without previous experience. You will be given exclusive, profitable territory for your own, free of competition. Scalalator. What in the world? There is only one scalalator. I've never heard of that. It thoroughly cleans boilers, radiators, heaters, condensers, engines, pipelines, hot water systems, pasteurizers, humidifiers, etc. Get all this big paying business in your vicinity. We'll help you build up a money-making lifetime business. Send coupon today for full details. Free. Wow. From Continental Chemical and Color Company on Walnut Street in Chicago, Illinois. Well, they don't even give you a zip code. Oh, this was before zip codes. This was 1940. There were no zip codes. Interesting. Scalalator. Well, I'm going to miss out on this opportunity because I want to go find that article about the what was it, a drill? Oh, look at that camera. 35mm Corsair, one camera thinks for itself, and it's only $16.75. Check these mistake-proof features. A. No more double exposures. Automatic film transport. B. No forgetting to extend lens retract. It has retractable lens mount and locks the shutter. C. Exclusive film minder indicates type of film and number of exposures. D. Correct exposure, no guessing. Built-in exposure meter. E. Velvet smooth focusing, precision focusing mount. F. Bad light can't stop you. Built-in flash synchronizer. It's only $16.75. Here's the sensational new camera everybody's talking about. Its mistake-proof features eliminate wasted film. Poor picture results. Uses economical double-frame 35mm Univex film, as well as any make bulk film. Accessory film cartridge for daylight loading available. Univex Corsair 1. Airport of tomorrow. Ooh, there's a reflex camera. It's only $3.95. Where was that article? A two-tone cigarette server. Foot bellows for the small shop. There are so many interesting things in here that we could read. Helpful hints around the house. Oh, this article's long. Oh, my stars. I don't think we'll be able to get through all this. This is quite a bit. We'll see. The MI Simplex drill grinder. Drill sharpening is easy with a Simplex. I guess that picture shows us it's easy. I don't know anything about drill grinders. Considerable unnecessary expenses incurred by the average home shop enthusiast through lack of equipment to sharpen worn twist drills. I know, I was just complaining about that the other day. Except in cases where the hobbyist has had commercial production experience, the ability to sharpen drills freehand is usually not satisfactorily developed. The initial cost of a drill grinder is prohibitive for the average home shop. About the only practical way is to compromise with both methods, the Simplex grinding attachment being designed for readers of Mechanics Illustrated to accomplish that purpose. The Simplex lacks such refinements as a drill stop, angle calibration, and micrometer feed, for the good reason that these features would make the device complicated and difficult of construction by the average person. Freehand work is too freehand, subject to too many errors without long practice and skill. The Simplex was designed to fill the gap, and it does this admirably. It is very easy and very inexpensive to construct, and very simple to use. After it is bolted to the grinder base at the correct distance and angle, operation is simplicity itself. Merely slide the drill in place and it is automatically centered. Align one lip with the surface of the wheel and a slight pressure sharpens the cutting edge. Then tighten the clamp and lower the drill holder, and exactly the right amount of clearance is ground from the heel. The other side is treated in the same manner, all within a few moments, and the tool is razor sharp, ready for fast, clean drilling. Construction. The self-centering drill holder consists of a piece of 1-inch angle iron about 3 inches long. With a hacksaw or metal cutting bandsaw, cut each side of one end at an angle of about 60 degrees. This has nothing to do with the angle at which drills are sharpened. The metal is cut away so that it will not come into contact with the grinding wheel when it is in operation. Drill a small hole near the point thus formed, as indicated in the drawings, and countersink it for a short, flathead machine bolt, so that the latter will fit exactly flush with the surface and will not interfere with the centering of various sized drills. With the aid of a vise, bend a short piece of 5/8 inch wide strap iron into a U shape to fit over the middle of the angle iron piece. The strap iron serves as part of a hold down with which drills are centered and held in the holder. The other part required is the screw and button removed from a small 10-cent C-clamp. To part the button from the screw, turn the latter to the left, using pliers if necessary, until they separate as in Figure 3. This is Figure 3, removing the screw and button from a 10-cent C-clamp. Those things are not 10 cents anymore. Drill a hole in the center of the strap iron and either thread the hole with a tap to fit the screw or solder a suitable nut over the hole on the underside. The most convenient and certain method of doing this is to tin both the nut and the strap iron about the hole and hold them in good contact with the screw while heat is applied with a clean soldering iron. A little oil on the screw will prevent it from being coated with a solder. Rivet the button back onto the end of the screw with the latter turned into the strap iron, and with a triangular file make a notch in the face of the button. The strap iron can then be replaced over the middle of the angle iron and held there securely by bending down the ends. Move the strap iron clamp to one side with a hammer and drill a hole of a slightly larger size than the clamping button into the bottom of the angle iron. It should be deep enough to seat the button where the strap iron is moved back in place. Several such holes may be provided if desired. They make it possible to screw the button well down into the V of the angle iron so as to grip the very smallest drills and hold them securely. The notch cut in the button is an aid in centering such small drills, although it need not be used when tightening large drills in the holder. An ordinary butt hinge 3 inches wide is used to support the holder so that it may be turned in an arc with the point of the drill at the axis. Cut away a part of 1/2 of the hinge after removing the pin and shorten the pin so that it may be riveted back in place. Figure 4 and the drawings show how one corner of the other half of the hinge is bent at an angle. The corner must be bent so that when the holder is attached, the point of the angle iron will be exactly in line with the hinge pin. The hinge that was used in making the model illustrated was provided with a screw hole to coincide with the hole in the angle iron. The bolt used to attach them was fitted with a strong lock washer so that once adjusted in relation to each other, they would hold their positions. A base must be provided to hold the hinge and drill holder assembly so that the pin of the hinge is at exactly the same height as the axis of the grinding wheels. This is figure 4. A corner of the hinge must be bent at exactly the right angle to center the drill holder at the axis of the hinge pin. In this case, the grinding wheels were mounted on an arbor with its center 5 5/8 inches above the baseboard. The base of the Simplex attachment is a piece of 2-inch angle iron with one end bent for mounting it to the baseboard with a heavy carriage bolt and lock washer. You can have the heavy angle iron bent, cut, and formed by a blacksmith or tinsmith. Bolt the hinge to the upper part of the base, then drill a hole at the center of the free side of the hinge and thread the hole for a machine screw and wing nut. As in figure 6, this provides a stop to limit the downward movement of the hinge and drill holder. Right here. A screw and wing nut serve as an adjustable stop to prevent the drill holder from being lowered too far. After the device has been mounted in place and adjusted, the stop may be adjusted to the required limit of travel to the hinge. Adjustment of the Simplex attachment to the grinding wheel is not critical, but it must be done accurately. Once set, it may be used in the one position for drills of all sizes. The size of drills that can be accommodated depends on the space between the clamping button and the bottom of the drill holder. If the strap iron clamp has been given a slight outward curve in bending, there will be sufficient space for drills of up to 1/2 inch diameter. And I think I'm going to have to stop there. There's a lot more. But this is just such a cool little magazine. Porpoise midget model racing boat. It's 15 inches of power-packed dynamite. This little pocket speedboat will skim along at an amazing pace. Interesting. There's just a lot of cool stuff in here. But yeah, I just wanted to take a little bit of time tonight and read to you about the Funk Twins. I had never heard of them. I'll be honest, I had never heard of them or anything about them, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And there's more in here that maybe we'll look at another day. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you again soon.